So, my dear friends, in the further pursuit of the division of English literature, there are certain units in which its history has been divided. In the nature of comfort, the first unit is it is known as Old English literature. It ends in 1100 AD, and the major authors of this period are Adelan, Bede, and Keduman. There are only very few fragment pages that are available in evidence form. Otherwise, this period is wholesome, being tributed with oral tradition, ballads, folk songs that has been transferred in again in oral nature to the successors of learning. Then we have Middle English literature, which starts after the end of this literature and with the Norman conquest that is 1060 AD. It ends in 1500 AD. This is the period in which literature has been flavored into the writings, and there are more mystery plays, morality plays, and this is the period in which one of the founding brothers of the Indian literature took birth. It is Geoffrey Chaucer. Then there is Julian of Norwich. The first evidence has been produced. She is the first woman writer in English literature at that time. So you can't say that uh, there are only men present in this. Yeah, there were women also who were writing in that time period. Along with there are major epics also, major hagiographers also, major hagiographies also, lyrics, English prose, romance. In this period, you do have a major impact of French language. After this, we have Tudor literature. It came into existence in 1500 AD and it ends in 1603 AD. It is the period when Renaissance took birth and certain reforms are being shaped into the society or in various other forms of life, like business, like commerce, like industries, like technology. Sir Thomas Morris, Sir Thomas White, Sir Philip Sidney, Edmund and Spencer, Fairy Queen, Sir Walter Raleigh, Christopher Marlowe. One of the authors which is being considered as that he is the one who took another name of William Shakespeare. Uh, Dr. Faustus was his finest play. In this period, we have John Lilly, Robert Thomas Nash, Richard Hooker's prose writing also. There are songwriters of Thomas Campion also. After this, we have a great name. As you know that in India, it just starts with Shakespeare and ends with Shakespeare. So Shakespeare took birth in this period. If you ask any student name anyone in this country name some authors of English, so certainly he starts with Shakespeare. I don't know how further he or she will go, but William Shakespeare took birth in that period, and he was the major face that period also. It is not that he got fame after his death; he was famous in his lifetime also. So after this, we have Stuart literature in this period. We have some reasoning developed. Sir Francis Bacon's essay are there, Robert Burton's treatise are there, Sir Thomas Brown are there, and a certain section of it has also been arising with Ben Jonson. Then there is some metaphysical poetry also. Devotional poets are also there. Cavalier poets are also there. John Donne, one of the major metaphysical poet. Uh, the difference between the religious flavor of old classical literature and the metaphysical nature of this time is very nice to follow. Then we have restoration, in which that after Oliver Cromwell's, uh, who shut the theaters, and John Dryden was there, John Locke was there, a famous political theorist, who, one of the three who propounded the theory of social contract. Then we have Augustan literature, which ends in 1719, in Joseph Addison, Jonathan Swift, Alexander Pope. It is the period of enlightenment. As far as I say that there is a development uh, in when something could work, there is a development, there is some pollution, there is some refinement. So you could agree with me or you could disagree with me easily. But after the religious flavors of saints in morality plays or in mystery plays, after religious songs, religious sermons being written, we have some metaphysical nature in which some devotion is there, some individualism is there. Now we have enlightenment in this period. Enlightenment is not that they are just shifting very in the right angle with the earlier theories. It is just a next step. Could be, but okay. There are some senses, there are some sensibilities which works, and man as a nature finds an alternate. So there is an alternate being created in this period also. Henry Fielding, Lawrence Stone, Henry Fielding, Daniel Defoe, Samuel Johnson's dictionary came in this period. Robert Burns, My Love is Like a Red Red Rose, a famous Scottish poet, was from this period. After this period, we have Romantics. Again, after Shakespeare, if you number anyone or name anyone in India, they are William Wordsworth. So it is a period of William Wordsworth, who lives a very long life, and a very long and fruitful life also. See the transition from old school of romantics to the younger schools of romantics. William Wordsworth, Coleridge, Byron, Shelley, Keats, William Blake, Lamb, William Hazlitt, Walter Scott, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, Sensibility are all from this period. There is a shift in understanding in this period. They go more with the association of man with the nature, which was being surrendered in earlier centuries, being revitalized in this period. I don't know whether it is a sign of hopefulness or it is a sign of rebirth or it is a sign of decay, but in this period we have certain sections which are getting momentum to get shifted from industrialization or from enlightenment or from sensibility or reasonability towards a more individualistic association of man with nature. After this, we have Victorian Age. Victorian Age is the most modern age that has traveled a lot. After this, there is a modern age, but it is again a modern age because it has taken a new birth that English literature has traveled a lot. In this period, we have Tennyson, being the successor of William Wordsworth, Browning, Robert Elizabeth Robert, Matthew Arnold, Rossetti, Casimiro Rossetti, Swinburne, Gerard Hopkins, John Eyre, Charles Dickens, William Shakespeare, George Eliot, Thomas Hardy, Oscar Wilde, George Bernard Shaw. It is a period in which a certain section wants to travel to and fro. So, to make a judicious balance, They want a society and individual on a balance. So that's why Thomas Hardy is writing the nitty-gritty and the complexities of society and its argument with man as a woman as an individual. Then we have Wuthering Heights, in which again individualistic life is fighting with the social causes. Thackeray, Vanity Fair, all the authors are making balance between society and individualism. After this, we have 20th century, the modern period. We have Kipling, Galsworthy, Arnold Bennett, H.G. Wells, Joseph Conrad, Foster, Lawrence, Joyce, Ezra Pound, T.S. Eliot, Yeats. This is the period in which the two world wars being fought. It is the period in which there is new beginning after the World War. It is the period of pessimism. It is the period of not inner conflict but outer conflicts uh, being rigorously contrasted. Then we have realism also. We have naturalism also in this period. So war poets are also there, which are celebrating, but there are also poets which are lamenting the wars. Then there, apart from all this realism, there is fairy tales also of C.S. Lewis. They are talking. The C.S. Lewis was very famous for his work Alice in Wonderland. So after this, we have a new beginning of Ted Hughes, Jeffrey Hill, Philip Larkin, Harold Pinter, which are which are discussing the futilities of modern age. From here, we shifts into the present scenario of contemporary English literature.